Today's video, as you can tell from the title, is gonna be a little bookshop with me video. I am super pumped. Boyfriend and I are gonna go downtown and shop at Magic City Books, which is like a locally owned, I think it's owned by like a non-profit. It's been years since I've been and I'm very excited. If you're ever passing through the Tulsa area, we have a couple of really cool locally owned bookstores. There's Fulton Street Books, which is Black owned. I think it's our only Black owned. There's Gardner's, it's a used bookstore. You can thrift books, movies, music. It's pretty easy to get lost in there for like an hour or two. I've definitely done that. And then Magic City Books, which is where we're gonna go today. I haven't really bought anything new. I don't really buy a lot of new releases because I'm not a big fan of hardbacks. Do you guys get annoyed when like the covers slip off? It annoys the crap out of me. So I usually end up buying paperbacks, but I'm gonna see what they've got today. I'm super jazzed. It's been kind of rainy and icky the last couple of days and the sun is out today, so we are very excited. We're gonna probably take a walk in the park. I'm jazzed for summer. I'm so glad that the sun is out. Let's go shopping. What's up, everyone? Guillermo and I say hi. You say hi? No? Do you want me to leave you alone? Yeah? Okay. Alright guys, we are back. I have secured the goods. I only got one thing, but that's okay because I was just saying earlier in the video that I don't actually really like reading hardbacks. I have seen this one mentioned several times by, I think, just like YouTubers, like booktubers and bookstagram people who I follow, and I've heard good things and I'm very intrigued. So before I show you the one I bought, I wanted to kind of go through and talk about some of the books that you saw clips for. I filmed the ones that I was like, that seemed the most interesting when I read the blurbs. The one about spring, that was like Chinese translated science fiction. It's on my TBR for sure. I'm gonna maybe attempt to wait for that one and see like when it comes out in paperback. I might pick that one up. I'll insert the blurb like on the screen. It sounded really fascinating. Science fiction is probably my favorite genre, and I really haven't read a lot of science fiction this year, which is kind of odd. So yes, I'm definitely gonna make that one a priority. Maybe next spring, because like it mentions spring in the title, so maybe I could like wait for it to come out in paperback and then read it then, maybe? To be a good idea. And then another one was called Happy For You. That one sounds really fascinating. I'm really interested in that sort of science fiction trope about like an algorithm or AI that tries to solve the human condition. I feel like ultimately that's sort of impossible. Like there's no way that's happening. So there were a couple other ones in there that sounded really good as well. I know there was a clip of crying in H Mart because I had to film that one. I think I even have, I'll link my April wrap up and I talk about that memoir. It's amazing. It really is everything that all the good reviews have said that it is. So I will link that one. I also have a bullet journal spread coming out soon. Like I think I'll probably post it next week because I was so obsessed. I'm gonna start doing like a monthly spotlight in my bullet journal. If you guys are new to my channel, I also do bullet journal journaling type content. And then there was End of the World House, I think is what it was called. Takes place in Paris. I know it mentioned something about the Louvre, like the main characters end up getting a private tour of the Louvre for some reason, which sounds really good. And if you didn't see, maybe I mentioned it in my last video, this summer I really want to read a lot of books that take place in Europe. I want to travel there in my mind. So, I mean, I'll be doing enough traveling this summer, but it's just gonna be like in America, like Florida and Colorado. But I definitely want your recommendations for books set in Europe, whether that be Paris, Italy, you know, the Mediterranean, wherever. Definitely give me your recommendations for those. There was also Revelator by Daryl Gregory. I loved the cover, was very intrigued by the blurb as well, which I'll put on the screen. However, I have read Daryl Gregory's Spoonbenders. Loved the concept of that one as well, but it's kind of one of those books where you like the blurb and the idea more than the book, like more than the execution. I found myself kind of speed reading it to kind of get through to the end, and so there was like a big climactic scene at the end, but it was sort of a little bit slower paced kind of throughout. So I didn't buy that one because I just thought I don't want to risk it. Maybe I'll wait until the paperback comes out. So anyway, there was a lot of really good stuff at Magic City. I am obsessed with their bags. He asked me, the guy who checked me out, he was like, do you want a bag? Because I just bought one book. And I was like, nah, you know, thinking it was probably plastic. And I was like, well, hold on, what do your bags look like? Are they cute? And he was like, yeah, I just hand stamped them this morning. And I was like, that's adorable. Yes, please give me a bag. So he hand stamps the bags every morning. I thought that was so stinking cute. And he gave me a free bookmark. I think they print like new bookmarks, it says every month. So that's kind of cool. Anyway, got that. And the book, I could not resist, Woman Eating by Claire Coda. So this is, I believe, about vampires. I am a sucker for vampires. Because of Twilight, I'll admit it. I have a sweet spot in my heart. I kind of feel like I'm that annoying girl who's like, well, I was into Twilight before the world was, you know, like I remember, I want to say it was like at a book fair, because I used to be a librarian aide in middle school, and so I helped set up for the book fair, and I remember seeing the cover and being like, wow, what's that? And read it in either 7th or 8th grade, and then by the time I was a freshman in high school and news that the movie was coming out, it was everywhere. Like I could not turn a corner in my high school and not see Twilight in some girl's hands. So anyway, bought that. I will read the blurb for you if you guys don't know what this one's about. Oh, it also mentions Buffy, and I'm a sucker for Buffy. So yes, here we go. It says, Lydia is hungry. She always wanted to try Japanese food. Sashimi, ramen, onigiri with sour plums stuffed inside. The food her Japanese father liked to eat. And then there is bubble tea and iced coffee, ice cream and cake, foraged herbs and plants, and the vegetables grown by the other young artists at the London studio space she is secretly squatting in. But Lydia can't eat any of these things. Her body doesn't work like those of other people. The only thing she can digest is blood. And it turns out that sourcing fresh pig blood in London, where she's living away from her vampire mother for the first time, is much more difficult than she'd anticipated. Then there are the humans, the other artists at the studio space, the people at the gallery she interns at, the strange men that follow her after dark, and Ben, a boyish, goofy-grinned artist she's developing feelings for. Lydia knows they are her natural prey, but she can't bring herself to feed on them. In her windowless studio, where she paints and studies the work of other artists and binge watches Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and videos of people eating food on YouTube and Instagram, Lydia considers her place in the world. She has many of the things humans wish for: perpetual youth, near invulnerability, immortality, but she's miserable. She's lonely, and she is hungry, always hungry. It sounds fabulous. It sounds so good. Food, and then like blood and violence and vampires, like all rolled into one. And it's like contemporary, like it mentioned like YouTube and Instagram. I think that's what I've been craving, is more like contemporary fiction that feels very like of the moment and kind of, not that all contemporary fiction has to reference social media in order for it to feel timely, but I just feel like that is like our world nowadays. So anything that kind of mentions that, I feel like it's just gonna feel more timely, because there's something about vampires that feels so old world, you know. It feels very like, you think of like Dracula, and I think of Interview with the Vampire, and you think of like petticoats and old school, like old decrepit castles, and like that moody gothic genre. So it sounds like Coda kind of brings it into the contemporary world, like the modern world. So very excited for this. Also, fun fact, I'm just gonna brag for like 5 seconds. The only bit of writing that I ever did that I was compensated for, I won a fiction prize, like for young writers. They gave me $500 for a story that I wrote about vampires. It was about like a mother-daughter vampire duo, which I will link. If you guys are interested, I will link that in the description box, because I don't know, you might find it interesting. So that kind of, I feel like this kind of hit a sweet spot for me because of that as well, because I kept thinking about that story because it mentions the main character and then her vampire mom. I'll link that below if you guys are interested. I don't know, I felt like I had to mention that. So this will definitely be in a wrap up at some point this summer, because I'm very, very ready to dive in. So that is it, guys. That's all I've got for you. Just the one book, not a big haul, but let me know what you guys are reading. Also, if you guys recommend bookstores for me, if you live in Florida, I'm gonna be in like the Fort Walton area this summer, and then Colorado Springs, Manitou Springs area. Please recommend cool bookstores, like locally owned bookstores, if you live in either of those areas, because I want to visit them. That was one of my regrets when boyfriend and I visited New Mexico last summer. I ended up not going into any independently owned bookstores when we were in Santa Fe and Albuquerque, because we ran out of time. I didn't like schedule it right. I ended up going to a little free library, which was really cute, but I didn't end up going to any bookstores, and I was so gutted. And that's probably one of my only regrets, is not going to an independent bookstore while we were there. So please leave your recommendations below. Anyways, that's it. That's all I've got. So thanks for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.